Before we begin this beginner's yoga balance flow, if you have balance issues, set up near a wall, bring a chair near your mat, or have props nearby for support. If you're using the suggested Spotify playlist, press play now. Okay, let's start in Balasana, child's pose, toward the back of your mat. Come on down to your knees. You can keep the legs narrow here if you'd like and fold forward over them. Arms can reach forward or stack under your head. Or keep the knees mat width apart, big toes touching under your sit bones, and then fold forward from there. We're starting in child's pose so we can be connected to the ground. Feeling the ground under you is important for sturdy balances. With that said, come up into plank position. Breathe in plank. This pose also gives us an energized connection to the ground through the hands and feet, as well as engaging the core, preparing for the upcoming balances. Speaking of core, roll into your side plank. Roll onto the edges of your feet. Bring the bottom knee to the mat under your hip. Once you're balanced, lift the top leg to hip height and flex the foot. This engagement of the core, outer thigh, and hip will help us later on. Lift up onto the fingertips of the supporting hand. Keep lengthening through the waistline. Flatten the hand once again. Connect the floating foot onto the mat and come into regular plank. Let's take all of that on the other side. Roll into your side plank, second side, onto the edges of your feet. Bring the bottom knee to the mat under your hip. Once you're balanced, lift the top leg to hip height and flex the foot. Lift up onto the fingertips of the supporting arm, lifting you up just a bit higher. Flatten the hand, connect the floating foot onto the mat, and come into regular plank. Now take a vinyasa. Knees down to the mat, lower the torso, elbows back. Release the feet. Inhale to baby cobra, pressing down through the hands. Exhale, lower. Inhale through tabletop to Balasana, child's pose. Stay here or press up to Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Your choice. Remember, in down dog, it doesn't matter if the legs are straight or if the heels reach the mat. A long spine is most important. Press the knuckles and the fingertips into the mat to take weight off the wrists. Shoulders move toward the thighs. On your inhale, lift the head. Step the right foot forward between the hands, outwardly rotate the other leg. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Press through the legs as you rise up. Square off the hips to the front of your mat as best you can, shoulders stacked over the hips. Sweep the arms up toward the ears. Don't worry if the arms are at a lower angle if the shoulders are restricted. It's no big deal. If you want to work on shoulder flexibility, check out my stiff shoulders video, linked below. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to shift into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Start to tap or shift your weight forward into the right foot. Play with this transition, shifting the weight forward and back, gradually finding the balance on the front foot. Once you do, float the back foot off the mat and tilt forward. The leg doesn't have to come high off the ground since you want a straight line from the crown of the head to the bottom of the foot. Dancer friends, this is not an arabesque, so flatten the back to a neutral position. Think of yourself as a seesaw or teeter-totter. As the torso lowers, the leg lifts and vice versa. The angle of your Warrior 3 can be anywhere from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Float up to vertical for Vrikshasana, tree pose. Tap the toe if needed. Make sure the hip bones are still pointing forward. Outwardly rotate the left thigh from the hip joint. Play with that rotation a bit. Okay, move into tree. Leg is outwardly rotated, bottom of the foot connects to the inner leg at the ankle, the calf, or above the knee as long as the hips stay level. No booty sticking out. Press the foot firmly into the standing leg. Hands can stay at the heart center or lift up overhead. Eyes focus straight ahead. Pick one focal point. but nothing that can travel or move. This focus of the eyes helps the balance immensely, as does the breath. Garudasana, Eagle Pose, is up next. Bring the leg back to parallel. Lower the toe to the mat. Bend the standing leg deeply. Left leg crosses over the standing thigh. Toes can touch the mat, a block, or if it's available, wrap the toes around the lower leg. Arms come out to your sides. Now whichever leg is on top, that same side arm will go underneath the other arm in front of the chest. Cross above the elbows. Bottom hand points upward. Top thumb reaches for the other fingertips. Or just hug yourself with the left arm underneath. Elbows are at shoulder height, shoulders away from the ears. Eyes look at the tip of the nose or your hands if they're in front of your face. Hey, are you breathing? When we humans do new things with our bodies, we tend to hold our breath, and that's no good. Keep breathing. Untangle yourself and shake out the pose. Come to Tadasana Mountain Pose at the top of your mat, hands to your heart center, to get ready for the second side. Step the right foot back, outwardly rotating the leg for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Square off the hips to the front of your mat as best you can. Front knee bent and tracking over the toes. Back foot fully connected to the mat. Shoulders stacked over the hips. Sweep the arms up toward the ears. Remember, any angle of the arms is okay. If the shoulders are open, the hands can touch above the head. Bring your hands to your heart. Start to shift into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Shift your weight forward into the left foot. Take it a few times, shifting the weight forward and back, and give one good push to the left foot. Find your balance and hinge forward. Float the back foot off the mat and maintain a straight line from the crown of the head to the bottom of the foot. Float up to vertical for Vrikshasana, tree pose. Tap the toe if needed. Play with the rotation of the hip joint a bit. Make sure the hip bones are pointing forward. Okay, to move into tree, keep the leg outwardly rotated. Bottom of the foot connects to the inner leg at the ankle, the calf, or above the knee as long as the hips stay level. Press the foot into the standing leg. Hands can stay at the heart center or lift up overhead. Eyes focus straight ahead and breathe. Feel the connection of your standing foot to the surface underneath it. Feel each toe, the ball of the foot, the heel, and the edges of your foot. Garudasana, Eagle Pose. Bring the leg back to parallel. Lower the toe to the mat. Bend the standing leg deeply. Right leg crosses over the standing thigh. Toes can touch the mat, a block, or wrap the toes around the lower leg. Arms out to your sides. Right arm under the left. Cross above the elbows. Bottom hand points upward. Top thumb reaches for the fingertips. Or hug yourself with the right arm underneath. Elbows at shoulder height, shoulders away from the ears. Eyes look at the tip of the nose or your hands if they're in front of you. Balance poses are not only good for our physical strength and balance, but also for concentration, calmness, and a sense of feeling grounded. Untangle yourself and come to Tadasana. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale Ardha Uttanasana, lift halfway up. Exhale Uttanasana, hands down, find plank and vinyasa. Lower the knees, then the torso to the mat. Release the feet. Inhale Bhujangasana, Cobra. Press through the hands. Exhale back to Balasana, Child's Pose. If you'd like, tuck the toes and move into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, and breathe here. Just for reference, these are both considered resting poses, even though downward facing dog feels like torture sometimes. Take one more breath. On your inhale, lift the head. Step the right foot forward for high lunge, outwardly rotate the back leg. Inhale, stand up to come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Feet are wider than Warrior 1. Hips are open and stay level to the ground. Front knee tracks over the center of the foot. Take a deep breath. Let the arms extend, palms down. Be mindful that you're engaging the upper arms. You want to rotate the upper arms so the elbows point back while the palms face down. This is not a typical cue, but it helps decrease the chicken wing phenomenon. Utthita Parsvottanasana, extended side angle, is next. Left hand to the waist, right forearm rests perpendicular on the thigh. This pose is a prep for Ardha Chandrasana half moon balance. You may want to grab a prop for our next transition. Reach the right fingertips forward about a foot from the toes and keep your eyes focused on this point. Start to shift your weight onto the right foot, keeping the hips open and stacked one on top of each other. This is much like our weight transfer from Warrior 1 to Warrior 3. It's okay if you fall out of it. This is all about discovery. Where's the body placement? Where's the balance? Where's your breath? What muscles do you use? Where's the focus, etc.? There's a lot going on, so don't beat yourself up. Make sure the floating leg has tons of energy in it. Dead weight in the leg will make you lose balance. Really energize the toes, ankles, lengthen behind the knee, and keep the outer thigh working, just as we did in our plank when we started this practice. To release, soften the standing leg and shift back into Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, hands to the waist. Rotate the toes to find Warrior 2 on the second side. Adjust your feet as you need to, and if you need to move one, move the back foot. Once you're settled, extend the arms. Move into extended side angle from here. Right hand to the waist, left forearm rests on the thigh perpendicularly. If you're using a prop, make sure you have it set up in front of you. Eyes focused on the point you're moving to. Extend the left arm, fingers reach on a downward diagonal, and start to shift your weight into the left foot. Take as many shifts of weight as you need to find the balance with the hips and ribs stacked. Energize the top leg. Open behind the knee. Flex the ankle. Pull the toes to your shin. Energize, energize, energize. Good. Soften the standing knee, reach the right foot back and find Warrior 2 again. Cartwheel the arms down to the mat, step back to plank and vinyasa. Lower down the knees, then the torso, arms hug the ribs. Feet release. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice, and breathe here. Lower the knees to the mat for child's pose if you're not already there. Inhale, lift the head. Walk your hands forward and lie on your belly. Bring the hands down by your sides, palms down for Salambhasana, locust pose. On an inhale, press the palms down as you lift everything else, head, neck, shoulders, and legs, so you're balancing on your belly and/or hips. Keep the knees as straight as you can. Exhale, lower down, turn the head to one side. We'll take 2 more rounds of locust pose. Inhale, press the palms, and lift everything else. Breathe while you're up here. This is the most challenging aspect of this pose. Roll the shoulders back, neck open and long so you can breathe. Exhale, lower down, turn the head to the other side. Last round. Inhale, press the hands down, lift everything else. Keep breathing. Stay lifted and bring the arms under your forehead. Release the body to the mat. Bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. This helps to release the back after those back bends. Extend the legs long underneath you and prop yourself up on your elbows to move into a spinal twist. Thread the right arm under the left and lie down on your right side. Pull the knees toward your chest. Let the left arm open to your side. With this entry into the spinal twist, don't worry if your shoulder is floating a little, as this is a chest opener as well. If it's uncomfortable, bring a pillow or prop under the floating shoulder and arm. Your arms can stay out to your sides. You can take cactus arms as I am here, or rest your hands on your torso or hip. It's really up to you and what feels comfy and relaxing. Allow yourself to let go and give in to gravity. This is a nice stretch for the outer hips and core after working so hard in all those balances. Gently roll onto your belly and thread the needle with the left arm to roll onto your left side. Move into the spinal twist. Knees to your chest, open the right arm to your side. Prop where you need to so no body parts are floating. Take a deep breath and melt into the twist. Roll onto your back. Hug the knees into your chest, one hand on either shin bone, and rock from side to side. Come to stillness. Slide the hands just under the knees. Start to push the shins into the hands to create resistance. Start to roll like a ball. Use your core to initiate the rockin' and rollin'. As you roll back, only roll to the shoulders. Avoid rolling onto the neck. As you roll forward, see if you can balance on the sacrum, not the tailbone, for a hot second. On your next roll, see if you can stay up for Navasana boat pose. Balance on your sacrum and breathe. Boat pose has a lot of variations. I'm moving through a few of them so you can check it out. Take this in baby steps. Toes can touch the mat. One or both shin bones can lift up parallel to the mat. Hands can hold behind the thighs or reach forward. Keep the chest open. Relax down into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side, and gently fold forward. This allows for the abdominals, hips, and spine to relax. Roll up to vertical and hold on to the thighs to roll down through the spine into reclined bound angle pose. Feel free to wiggle and make any adjustments you need to. Then find stillness and bring one hand to your heart and one to your belly. Eyes can close or look to the tip of your nose. Check in with your breath. We'll do a simple pranayama, intentional breath work, while we're lying in reclined bound angle pose. We'll fill the belly first, then the chest with air. Then exhale out of the chest first, and then out of the belly. Fill the belly. Fill the chest. Empty the chest. Empty the belly. Fill the belly. Fill the chest. Empty the chest. Empty the belly. Take a few more rounds on your own breath pattern. Concentrating on your breath gives the mind something to focus on, which helps the nervous system settle down. When we fill the belly with air, it gives a sense of grounding, encouraging calmness. When we fill the chest with air, it brings expansion, vitality, and life to your heart center. Inhale, fill the belly, then the chest. Exhale, empty the chest. Empty the belly. This type of pranayama is available to you at any time to help settle the mind and bring you calmer energy. Take one final round. Gently come back to your natural rhythm of breath, letting go of the belly-chest breath, and just breathe normally. Slide the hands to your outer legs and close them. If you're using the suggested Spotify playlist and it's within reach, I recommend turning it off now. Move into your Shavasana. Let the legs extend long, mat width apart, and let them fall to their natural rotation. Arms by your sides, palms up, but no higher than the shoulders. If it's chilly where you are, bring a blanket over you to stay warm. Let the eyes close and take rest in stillness. Shavasana is here for you to recover and absorb all the benefits of your yoga practice. It allows your nervous system to relax, your heart rate and your breath pattern to come back to their normal rhythms. It allows time for awareness of the mind and body. If the mind continues to swirl with a bazillion thoughts, it's okay. That's quite normal. Try focusing on your breath instead. You can count them any way it makes sense to you. And when you lose count, start from 1 again. Start to deepen your breath. Find energy in your fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, hands, and feet. Extend the arms overhead by your ears for a big full body stretch. Hug the knees into your chest and gently rock from side to side. Roll onto your right side, resting in fetal position, right arm under your head as a pillow. Gently press yourself up into a seated position. Eyes remain closed. Hands can either press together at your heart center or one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take a few moments here to check in with how you feel after this practice. How do you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually? Take a moment for some gratitude. What are you grateful for in this moment and why? Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Have more time? Check out one of these beautiful practices over here, and there's more suggestions in the description below. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.